Workshop meeting, February 11th, 2016. Would you please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I call this meeting to order as of 9 a.m. Open the floor to public comment. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to item number 3. I'll call on Jeff Miller and Charlie Hall for a press release regarding the Cumberland County Coroner and Deputies Complete National Training Program.
Good morning, Commissioners. The American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators is a board that has set professional standards and protocols for how a medical legal death investigation should be handled. So recently, back in October, my Chief Deputy Matt Stoner, Deputy Jeff Miller, and I attended a week-long class in St. Louis University School of Medicine, after which we completed our exam for the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. And we are now national certified medical legal death investigators, the 3 of us. My goal is to get my other 2 full-time deputies certified by the end of this year. There's a push with the Pennsylvania Coroners Association and the state legislature to make this mandatory for all full-time coroners and deputy coroners. That way everybody's on the same page, everybody's using the same procedures and protocols. So I went ahead and got a jump on it and got it done early. So we'll be ahead of the game.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Any questions for Charlie, company, and Jeff? Thank you. Item number 4, Mick. Is Mick here?
Yep.
Hi, Mick. Discussion of the CNRC property and liability renewal.
Last week, Raymond Soto and I met with the CNRC insurance agent to discuss the upcoming renewal for the insurance program that renews April 1. The market is about at a 3 to 5% increase in what we are seeing at the moment. The current carriers have offered a 0% increase if we do not go to market. That fits our schedule well, because we usually shop the account every 3 years. That way you keep the market fresh to the account. So I would recommend that the county take advantage of the 0% increase. A 3 to 5% increase is about $5,000 to $7,000, I think. So we would avoid that increase. And then next year we would shop it and time the market well. So we can, if you are not inclined to that, then we would need to know so we can start marketing the account in order for April 1 people.
The current carrier has said they won't increase the premium if we don't go out.
Correct. They'll give us a flat renewal if we do not shop the account. And
Well, what if we do shop the account?
well, then you're gonna, we're seeing a 3 to 5% increase in the marketplace now, so the other carriers out there are gonna be going through a 3 to 5% increase. And if you shop it too often, there's only 4 carriers in the marketplace.
No, understood.
You don't get quotes. So shopping it too often sometimes works to your disadvantage.
I'm sorry, Mick, you said that 3 to 5% would equate to.
$5,000 to $8,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from Mick? Okay, thanks, Mick.
You're welcome.
Kirk, we're experiencing some difficulties in him connecting. Here we are, speaking of the devil. Kirk, is that you?
That's me.
All right, buddy, you're on speakerphone, and we got you for the temporary easement for construction for the bridge Y-15 in South Cumberland.
Okay, Commissioners, this is a little bit of a rehabilitation project we're doing on Bridge Y-15, which is Aggie Bridge down behind the William Spring Pool and the Old Bridges Creek. We need small temporary construction easements from South Middleton Township and a private property owner. We've met with both the temporary easements from South Middleton Township. We're waiting one from the private property owner. Both are in agreement that they'll give us the easements.
Okay, is there any muscles involved here, Kirk?
No, not this one.
All right. Any questions for Kirk?
Kirk, I didn't quite hear you, but did you say we're anticipating approval by the property owner with respect to the temporary easement?
Yes, there's a private property owner there that we need the easement from. We met with him first week of January. He's amenable to it. We've worked out a deal. His easement will be coming in shortly.
Okay, when you say worked out a deal, what does that mean?
$500 for the easement. We had to look at if we look back at past easements we paid and then translated that to what we would pay for a similar easement here.
Okay, and what's the time frame of the temporary easement?
It'll run the duration of the construction project, which will start later this year and run through the fall.
So what's, just a few months or something?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And Kirk, is this any significant inconvenience to the property owner?
No, this is land that, as he calls it, he really doesn't use it. It's his private property, but he allows it for access to the stream for the Yellow Bridges water trail. So he's working with us on this. We went out and met with him at the site. He has no concerns. We just need to have him look over the easement, which he's doing now, and we sent it back to us in a finalized format.
Okay.
Keith, do you have any questions?
I do not. I reviewed the easement documents.
You have?
I have.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Kirk or Keith? Okay, thanks, Kirk.
Okay, no problem. We'll see you.
All right, bye-bye. James Hoffler to address the winter 2016 update on the Cumberland Valley Rail Trail.
I don't see Jim here.
Neither do I. All right, we'll put that one aside. If Mr. Hoffler shows up, we'll reinsert it. Let's move on, Sandy, with contracts and agreements.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to begin by calling on Wendy Schaefer to discuss the 6 blank agreements for aging. Wendy?
Good morning. Aging is asking for your approval on 6 pass-through paying agreements. The agreements are with Adams, Mifflin, Dauphin, Perry, Franklin, and York County. Pennsylvania Department of Aging has designated Cumberland County to coordinate services and activities for the Pennsylvania Link Aging and Disability Resource Center, which covers those 6 counties. The term of the agreement would have a start date of July 1/15 through June 30/16. Each agreement specifies what funds are available for each county. The funds are from the Aging Block Grant, and no general fund dollars are being used.
That was no general fund.
Correct.
Any questions for Wendy? Thank you, Wendy. Next, I'd like to call on Penny to discuss the agreement between Bureau of Elections and St. Peter Lutheran Church. Penny?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is just a facility use agreement with St. Peter's Lutheran Church to use it as a polling place in April and November.
Is this a new polling location?
It is not a new polling place, but we've never had to use a facilities use agreement with this particular church before, and just as we'll clean it up before we get it back.
And where's it located?
Oh, yeah, GIS guy, he knows.
Yeah. Can you show us on the map, please?
You might be out there.
Is that being used in place of the one that was at the high school?
It is not. We've used this one for years and years and years. The one that we used to use at the high school.
Okay.
No, the one we used at the high school simply moved across the parking lot to the administration building.
Thank you, Penny. Next, I'd like to call on Lisa Ryder to discuss the 2 agreements for children and youth. Lisa?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to ask for approval for 2 agreements. With the state passing portions of the budget, it also allowed the state to move forward with the process of the 15-16-year contracts. Currently, all our out-of-home placements, we're working on extensions to the 14-15. Now we're starting to see the 15-16 contracts start to be approved. Bethany Children's Home, however, they're asking for a significant increase in their per diem. They actually asked for it last year, but we were able to hold off on that per diem increase. They're going from $151 a day to $230 a day, which they revamped the whole program. So they're more in line and comparable to our other group homes. Bethany, however, takes our really difficult children that we have trouble getting into other programs. We don't use them very much. We have one child there now, so it's not like it's a huge expense to us. And then their shelter also, they asked for an increase there from $200 to $220, which is still, it's in between our cash shelter per diem and our Abraxas shelter per diem, which we don't use them unless we don't have any beds at either of those locations. They have not received any increases since we started their contract, which was before the 11 and 12 fiscal year. And then the second one is the Hempfield MST program. This rate is a significant increase also. That rate is set by Perform Care. We have no choice in that matter. It is an MA service, however, we do contract with them. Sometimes we have to start the service while they work on the family getting eligible for MA, and then once they become eligible, it'll flip. And then any costs we do incur, we have a grant, and we're 100% funded on those expenses.
Any questions for Lisa?
Lisa, on the first one, what's the percentage of the county's share of that?
It's an 80-20 reimbursement, so it would be 20% of the per diem.
And in terms of the increase, are there other providers, in the area that might provide the same level of service?
We have like Adelphi and United Methodist Children's Home, which we try them first, and if they don't accept the child, then we go to Bethany, which they've taken the more difficult to place child.
Okay.
We use them as the last
How does this
resort.
compare to, do we have any idea how this compares with what providers are asking in other parts of the states to the same level of service?
Adelphi is 225. I do know they're asking for, like all our providers right now are asking for rate increases. I just haven't been able to assess that yet. But UMH, they're 200.
Are these increases the result, any result of the budget impasse?
No. They did a complete program change. They actually wanted this rate last year, which we were able to hold off last year. And actually, all the other counties accepted this rate, and basically they told us if we don't accept the rate, we're not going to accept any of our children, which we basically may not refer to them because of this, but we do have one child there right now.
Well, we want to make sure that the children receive the kind of service.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Next, I'll call our Dana to discuss the two agreements for CMIC and the submission of a grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services.
Good morning. The first two contracts are for temporary staffing agencies for CNAs, LPNs, and RNs, and they're for the contingency planning at the nursing home. The third bullet is the submission of the grant application for the DME grant, and that is a resident-specific wheelchair, and they will reimburse us for the Medicaid rates for the wheelchair, and the state will reimburse us for that.
Any questions for Dana? Thank you, Dana. Next, Eric will be discussing an agreement between District Attorney's Office and Corrections Development. Eric?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a renewal application for Corrections Development, CDI. They maintain our software package in the DA's office for case management. It's the total cost of $8,541. It's for the maintenance contract, and they also do some upgrades for that dollar figure.
Eric?
Yes, sir.
Would this, if they ever get the UCM in there, would this be a parallel system with UCM?
We're looking to see how they're going to meld together. That's not fully vetted yet, so we're going to try to do what's best, but they may run parallel for a while. I'm not sure.
I like the word meld.
Yeah.
It's a nice thought.
Think positive.
Think positive.
Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
Justin Smith is here to discuss the agreement between GIS and DSRI. Justin?
Morning, Commissioners. This is a software maintenance agreement with Esri that we've gone to every year. The total amount of the contract is $23,450. This is for 5 departments sharing one maintenance contract. We went through a upgrade with assessment last year. The property mappers are now on an enterprise database system, and we accomplished that without having to increase any of their licenses. So
Justin, this is an extension of the existing contract.
it's a new contract, but we go through this every year because it's just our software maintenance, so we get free technical support and updates. Well, we're paying for it, but
Is there an option for a multi-year agreement that we might get a break on the price?
We can go into sort of an ELA agreement, an enterprise license agreement, but that can get very expensive because that basically gives us unlimited licenses, and we don't really need that.
So do you think this is the best value, best deal?
It is, and Esri is the leader in GIS software, and we've been with them for a long time.
They kind of have us.
Yeah, everybody uses it throughout the state.
Are there any other questions for Justin? Thanks, Justin. Next, I'd like to call on Holly Sherman to discuss the agreement between Human Resources and Bavare.
Good morning. This is an amendment to our contract with Bavare for our employee wellness services. It is to remove the coaching 2 component from the contract that we had in last year. It'll save $2.35 per employee per month, about $15,000 for the year.
Any questions for Holly?
Holly, they don't use that Fitbit thing, do they?
You can integrate it into the program, but it's not, none of our wellness incentives depend on it.
I understand there's issues with Fitbit.
Yeah, like it ain't what it's spread up to be. Or possible, it's possible. It's not as correct.
Okay, next I'd like to call on Sue Carval to discuss the 4 MHIDD agreements, please.
Yes, good morning. The 2 medical assistance revalidation applications are for the mental health side of the office. They're required by all medical assistance providers. The one for community mental health services are for the MH delegates when they get called out. And the administrative case management is for our CAS workers so that they can submit their work for payment. The Easter Seals contract is for the IDD side. It's for sign language interpretation services, and it's for $2,000. And the Franklin Fulton County MHIDEI program is their share of the KQ contract, which we talked about last time. Their share is $18,246, and these are all state dollars.
Any questions for Sue?
We should thank Sue for coming, walking for death.
Doing much better, thank you.
Okay, next I'd like to call on Justin Miller to discuss the agreement between Recycling and Waste in Camp Hill Borough and the application for registration to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection regarding the 2016 household hazardous waste event. Justin?
Why don't you keep going? Let me see if we can get him on the phone.
Next, I'll call on John Bittner to discuss the Department of Environmental Protection West Nile Virus Control Grant.
I have a little handout for you. First, I'd like to go over the grant for this year, 2016, is a little bit more than 15 grant, and then they've included $13,600 for a ultra volume sprayer. We'll be able to replace the sprayer that we use now, which we purchased back in 1997. So in all other respects, the grant from 15 to 16 is basically the same. Most of the operating expenses are all the same. We had a small balance in the grant this year, or in 15, of almost $3,000 that we didn't use. So we can manage with the same amount for 60. And all of our expenses are covered under the grant. The county, there's no match or anything like that for the county. And then the rest of the little handout I have is just a year in review. Something I think is significant is we sampled at 217 different locations throughout the county, at least once, and some of those were multiple times. As as far as individual adult mosquito specimens, we had 58,609. So yes, whenever we send our samples to the lab, they do count each and every mosquito. Then there's a chart that shows you where we were with collections and positives in regard to the local counties. We have a catch basin project that we started this year, and we're pretty much almost through with that. We've got 3 municipalities to go through yet. But what that entails is we're locating each and every catch basin or storm water inlet in the event that we need to treat them for standing water. So most of the time they're all built correctly, but sometimes over time they sink a little bit and water does not drain out of them correctly, and they do produce some mosquito larvae. So just to get back to what Justin's presentation on Esri, we use their system. GI system is a beautiful system. We can do everything on our phones when we're out there. It makes it very streamlined. Everything's online. When we do everything on the field, it comes right back to the county and it's done. And then when we're done with the municipality, we ship the files to the municipality, and then they have an Excel document that they can add fields to. We have the raw data as far as the lat and the long and where the actual storm catch basins are. And then the last thing I thought, since it's kind of topical, is Zika virus, just to bring you up to date on that. Zika is basically a fever, rash, joint pain type of virus. Most people recover. Most people don't even know they have any symptoms because the symptoms are similar to other viruses that we get. It's significant now because they're finding that women who were pregnant and had Zika have an increase in microcephaly in their infants, and that can be a big problem for the infants. Zika is transmitted by Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, of which we have none in Cumberland County. We've sampled since 1972. We've never had a sample that had one Aedes aegypti. Although we do have Aedes albopictus, and they believe that albopictus is similar enough to Aegypti that they could possibly carry the virus also. We do have Aedes albopictus in Cumberland County. In 2015, we had, of all those 58,000 specimens, we had 317 that were actually albopictus. Still a lot of questions about Zika every day on the TV. It's something new. Yesterday now, we finally have 2 people in Pennsylvania that had been diagnosed with Zika, but they all traveled. So everyone in the United States so far who has been diagnosed with Zika had traveled and gotten Zika somewhere else. Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes do not overwinter well in this type of climate, so we don't believe, and the state doesn't believe it's going to be a big problem here. But the good news is, with the West Nile virus program, we're set up. So we're already monitoring. We have the surveillance in place. So we have the staff and the equipment, and we have the control materials in case we would need to address Zika type mosquitoes specifically. Although addressing Aedes albopictus adult mosquitoes is a little bit more difficult because they're active mostly through the day. So they're day biters, and it's not really advisable to do an adult mosquito spraying through the day because all the other bugs are out there too. So what's convenient about West Nile virus and the Culex species that transmits West Nile virus, they're active at night when most of the other bugs are resting or bees are in their hives and that kind of stuff.
But John, if these are all Brazilian mosquitoes, wouldn't they all congregate around the soccer fields?
Well, we do have some sites where we actually do sample at soccer fields. We do, because we know there's people there. That's one of our 217 locations there. Let's see. So the bottom line with mosquitoes, whether they have West Nile virus or Zika virus or whatever, dump the standing water. They all breathe in standing water. So that's the big message. And that's the other push that we will make this year since we're almost done with the catch basins. The next push that we've started is for the office to be more aggressive in the educational outreach. We already are getting to have sent information in January to municipalities for the newsletters. We're working at the county outreach programs, which is going to be this coming Tuesday, it's postponed from last Tuesday. We get reports out to the COG every month. Katie in our office is getting a listing of all the homeowner associations to get to them. And the communications team is actually working on a video, and we're already on social media. Our website is very extensive on not just what we do, but linking the homeowner residents to like CDC, Pennsylvania, and those other people who have other information, varied information on it.
Do we know how many municipalities actually still produce newsletters? I mean, we just say you're sending out municipalities for including in their newsletters, and that's really up to the municipalities to determine whether they want to put it in their newsletters. But do we have an idea on how many of our 33 municipalities?
I don't have an answer to that question. I know we took the list from the commissioner's office of all the municipalities and shipped it out.
I know that
2 or 3 people did say they saw it in their newsletter already. I don't remember which ones they were.
I know that, as we move forward into the 21st century here, it's an anomaly for most people not to have internet access, but there's still people who don't have internet access. I do think it's important to get it out into the community so that people are aware of what we're doing. The other thing I would suggest, John, is maybe consider making the information available in our public libraries as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're working, the other thing Katie's working on is a trifold brochure that's been updated with a couple things, and we'll get those out to the municipalities and the library. Yeah. Anything else?
Cool.
Thank you.
Justin, you ready to go? Justin?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Wait first, Sandy, yes,
Next, I'll call on Justin Miller to discuss the agreement between Recycling and Waste in Camp Hill Borough and the application for registration to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the Household Hazardous Waste event for 2016. Justin?
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning, commissioners. So the first item is to add Canfield Borough to our yard waste and equipment program. What I'm asking you to sign is the same agreement that we developed last year and have entered into with all the other participants. I did query the current participants, and none of them had any concerns or objections to adding Canfield to the program. Any questions on the agreement?
People are shaking their head no, Justin.
Okay, hearing none. The second item is a DEP application for registration to hold our 2016 Household Hazardous Waste event. Basically, it tells DEP that we plan to hold the event on Saturday, August 20th, here at the Allen Road facility, that we have a health and safety plan in place for the event, and that we will be asking them for 50% reimbursement of event costs after it's over. It also makes us eligible for up to $15,000 in pesticide disposal funding from the Department of Agriculture. And based on our data from the past 2 years, I'm estimating a total event cost of $75,000. All our revenues that we receive would bring our costs down to about $11,750, and that would come out of the solid waste fund.
Are there any questions for Justin? There are no questions, Justin.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's all I have.
That's it? Thank you, Sandy. Moving on to item number 8, Cumberland Invest request for authorized advertising for bids to provide oxygen supplies, respiratory therapy services to Claremont Nursing Home.
We're requesting to authorize the oxygen supplies and respiratory therapy. The current contract ends at the end of June, so we want to make sure something is in place before that contract expires.
Any questions for Dana or Raymond on this? Thank you. Eric, you're up again. We have 2 capital project requests. One's for purchase of a 2016 vehicle for the Bureau of Justice Services with a total cost of $36,379, and the purchase of another 2016 vehicle the DA Criminal Investigation Division with a cost of exactly the same.
Right. Not by coincidence, they're the same, about the same vehicle, and they're equipped equally. The cost to see ahead of you or before you for $36,379, it's cost of the vehicle, the modifications, the radios, the interior all out. It's a total package cost. I never bought all state contracts.
You still have the passenger injection seat?
Yeah.
And what, this money comes from where? Is that general funds?
General.
Are these purchases in the 2016 budget?
With capital, we pull capital out of the actual line item, so we have a contingency for capital projects.
So there are funds to cover these things in the budget?
There are, and I believe CID, oh no, that's in the same budget. Sometimes they purchase out of audit that, but this will all be general.
We did all for the class.
Thank you.
And Eric, your current vehicles?
1999 Chrysler and a 2005 Escalade that was a seizure vehicle.
And I take it you've gotten full use out of those?
Yeah.
Any questions for Eric? All right, Eric, you still up for 9 and 10? Discussion request for proposal for education services to provide forensic investigation training.
Sure. So last year we received, we had submitted to you folks and you approved, we had submitted a grant to PCCD for Coverdell training. And we did, that was approved. So we went to RFP, we received 2 proposals from that RFP for response from West Virginia University and from a company called Forensic Training Sources. I'm recommending that we take which turns out to be the lower of the 2, for a total amount of $24,308.35 to West Virginia University to provide this 3 weeks of training in 2016.
Any questions for Eric?
That's covered by the grant.
Covered by the grant. Okay. Thank you. I'm sure West Virginia University, which is now with Florinia's defeat in basketball this week, will appreciate this.
I'll be delighted.
Now it's time for Commissioner Liaison reports. We'll start off with Chairman
Okay, I had my first meeting with the Cumberland County Children and Youth Services Citizen Advisory Committee. And the biggest items I got out of the meeting here was that they are seeking 3 people in the committee to bring them up to a minimum of 11. They have 4 candidates, so it's possible all 4 candidates might be added to the committee. There have been staff changes and resignations, and so they have added another supervisor to equalize the flow of cases that they're seeing. And the biggest issue at this time is maintaining staff. My other report, Cumberland County Western Cumberland Council of Governments. Not too much to report, however, there is a grant that is being applied for the Big Spring School District Pedestrian Safety Grant. It's a $750,000 grant and will require a 3rd match. Other information shared, everybody got through the blizzard that we had. The previous meeting, everybody was saying how their salt amount was full. Now it's been tapped into a bit from the storm, but all is well on the western side of the county. That's it.
questions for Commissioner DeFilippo? Thank you. Commissioner Hensel.
Okay, I attended my first meeting of the Cumberland County Conservation District Board on January 26th, and the reorganization meeting, we saw the re-election of Wolf as chair and the election of Duff George as vice chair. Also featured numerous 2015 year-end reports from district staff on a wide range of related subjects. And during the year gone by, conservation plans were developed for 15 farms in Cumberland County, covering a total of 2,818 acres. In the face of increasing pressure from the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, there was also discussion revolving around the state DEP's reboot of the Chesapeake Bay tributary strategy. There appears to be a concerted effort, and I think this is something that's long overdue and positive development on the part of DEP and Secretary John Quigley to refocus in partnership with our local communities, farmers, and other stakeholders in meeting the regulatory requirements of Washington, D.C. In particular, the reboot of the effort, as it's being called, instead of a top-down dictate from the state to local entities, appears, and I'll underscore the word appears, aimed at providing increased resources and technical assistance, and again, a partnership approach to aid in compliance with the water quality requirements. Of course, this is early, and we'll see how it all turns out. Hope springs eternal. The days of the unfunded mandates in this area are history, but as I said, we'll see. For one thing, although I understand the surveys being sent out to our farmers may be a bit cumbersome and overly technical in nature, I do applaud the state's efforts to identify best management practices that have already been implemented by farmers in Cumberland County and throughout the Susquehanna River Basin. BMPs that Pennsylvania has not received credit for by bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. And this is the kind of effort that should have been undertaken a long time ago, before the costly mandates that were previously imposed, especially on our point source municipal sewage treatment plant operations. But in any event, I think, and I hope we're finally headed in the right direction on this. Meanwhile, following the January 26th Conservation District meeting, there was also a special meeting of the Conservation District Board on February 3rd. And while there was some concern regarding the source of the funds from the base allocation to pay for staff for all of Pennsylvania's conservation districts statewide, a decision that was made by the State Conservation Commission, the county's board voted unanimously to apply for $47,000 from an allocation of $500,000 throughout the river basin to facilitate some additional best management practice projects here in Cumberland County this year. On Monday of this week, as a member of the board of the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, I joined with other county commissioners from around the state in meeting with the governor's staff and legislative leaders on both sides of the aisle, on both the Senate and House, and to discuss the county commissioners' legislative priorities for the new year. I've covered a lot of those previously, so I'm not going to repeat them. But of course, one of the big ones is never again do we want a situation where the funds are not flowing to serve the needs of the people of our counties. And this week's Farmland Preservation Board meeting was canceled because of the weather, and that's been rescheduled for next week. And Monday night will be the first working session of the Capital Region Council of Governments, and I hope to attend that. That's all I have.
Any questions for Commissioner? Thank you. Commissioner Eichelberg.
Just a handful of things. Most of the meetings for this month are upcoming, actually. Planning Commission meets next Thursday. That's the same day the MHID Advisory Board will be meeting, so I should perhaps have something at that point. Just a reminder, the outreach meeting that was rescheduled for the eastern part of the county is scheduled for next Tuesday. Typically, as the liaison for the planning commission, I attend those. In recent years, we've had virtually the entire board attend, so I'll share that with you that I think the RSVP, if you want to attend, is tomorrow. Topics they anticipate discussing are going to be the activity for the County Economic Development Corporation, the county comp plan updates, open space and farmland preservation topics, recycling and solid waste, and also vector control. I imagine in particular as the new guy, if I can say that here, I'm sure they'd welcome the opportunity to attend that if you're able. I know we have a full day that day as well. From tomorrow, we have our first meeting of the year for the LEO, the local elected officials committee of the Workforce Investment Board. And we're looking at reorganization. We've lost our chairman due to family issues, so looking at a substantial reorganization there. And I'll say under my breath, I have a feeling I'm going to be drafted for that. But we'll see. I'll let you know. But of course, our Workforce Investment Board is doing a lot of important work, and the Department of Economic Development Corporation works closely now too, so that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. We anticipate a very active year ahead, some of which we've already briefed on, I'll have updates throughout the year. So, speaking of the Economic Development Corporation, just a reminder, next week, Tuesday, is the annual meeting and reorganization for the board, and as you may recall, the membership of the corporation is made up of 3 commissioners, so it will be helpful if we have a quorum at minimum, and it would be fantastic if we had all 3 commissioners, but that would be the first. So just a reminder, that is at the Radisson, 7:30 next Tuesday, and we'll need at least 2 commissioners present for the reorganization there. Solid Waste Authority meets Tuesday night. We heard from Justin earlier about the application for the household hazardous waste. We also have received, and I think Justin shared with all of you, various articles on the movement and the issue of electronics recycling recently. He's provided a number of helpful articles. There is something of a blip in attention on that because of the failings of the law, which we've discussed here previously. So I think it's a good idea for Justin to continue sending the articles to all of us, or we can choose to read them or online or at leisure. But that's going to be the major topic of discussion Tuesday night, I'm sure. We've hit some roadblocks in terms of whether our provider, our vendor, can continue to help us with the existing electronics needed function across the state, but very much so here in South Central and Cumberland County specifically. So we'll have a lot of discussion on that, and hopefully we'll have some answers soon on what's going to happen here in this county this fall in terms of our limits. But as a reminder, the discussion is going to center around possibly legislative role. We can be recruited to assist in that. So I'll have more for you on that soon, I'm sure. And that's everything.
Any questions for Commissioner Ivey?
Barry, I have one more item I forgot. The Penn State Ag Extension Board, they're going to be recommending appointment of 2 new members to fill vacancies for a 3-year term, 2016 through 2018. They are Adam Smith and Amanda. That's it.
Adam Smith with the invisible hand. A few people could get that, so. I said Adam Smith with the invisible hand.
Adam Smith with the invisible hand is like 300 or 400 years old.
That's the reason it's a joke.
That's why it's an old.
It's economics humor. If it's lost, then it's okay, we understand. The only other thing I wanted to add is, I think we have appointments coming up for the Industrial Development Authority next month too, so I'll have some nominees coming forward for that.
Okay. Just one question. Justin had sent out something in terms of the resolution about the electronic recycling stuff. Is that anything we want to do today, or is that for the future discussion?
Sorry, which probably
Justin,
Yeah.
Royce Recycling had sent out it's not
He
anything.
didn't say anything about actions, immediate action.
All right.
I just, I had made a suggestion, and I think that based on Gary's report, and we'll see what the recycling authority board wants to perhaps recommend. But this is an issue that we had discussed at the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. As Gary mentioned, it is a statewide issue. It requires a legislative fix, and the sooner the better, because as we've received some emails from constituents, they had no way to dispose of their television sets and electronics right now, and it's a problem. It needs to be addressed, and legislature needs to fix it. So, but hopefully we'll get some recommendations from the board there.
We're very tuned into it, so.
Yeah.
And now the new OLED TVs are coming out, so we're going to have a whole rash of new upgrades to those.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Okay.
And it's, my correction, the thing that Justin stipulated is for the board meeting rooms, not for this board. So, anything else from the commissioners regarding liaison? Thank you. I'd like to report executive sessions held February 2nd, 2016 at 1:30 p.m. and February 10th, 2016 at 2:30 p.m., both regarding personnel issues, and request for an executive session regarding personnel issues. Is there any other business? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.